Post-Election Hangover. When a major election is over and it didn't go the way you wanted it to go, it's time to dig in your stilettos. How? Teach. Teach what you know. In other words, get out there and do your part to change the world. It's like an election day hangover that lasts all day. It was a marathon, yet there are no real answers as to if we accomplished anything. Some yeses, some nos. Florida, I just want to grab you by the shoulders and shake you awake. How can it be, I thought. Where are all these red votes coming from? Georgia, the stories of polling places where African Americans live and work being told, quote, the machines aren't working today. Are you kidding me? Or that they don't have enough extension cords to plug the machines in. Did this happen in suburban white neighborhoods? Yes, there were gains, extraordinary gains for women and minorities in the House, and also a few governorships that were crucial. But all in all, did we make any progress? Very little, in my opinion. And so in my morning crankiness, which is what happens when you're up until 5 a.m. in Europe, waiting for something to happen when it doesn't, and you have a work day ahead, and it begins, as it always does, with a talk with God. But instead, the talk with God goes like, WTF? WTF, God? And this is where I go for answers. Which is why when the espresso maker on the stove, which I still haven't mastered, boils over and spills stinky burnt coffee on the burner, my iPad is tuned to my CNN feed, and some political pundit who is actually quite astute answers my question to God when he makes the statement. This isn't about a country divided between red states and the blue states. It's not about red and blue. All of the data is showing one thing. It's about college-educated and the non-educated. And there you have it. God is not responsible for all the messes we have made, but it does provide the solutions for all of them as soon as we have created them. And when I heard that pundit's statement, I knew he was right. How many people on the other side have you talked to, and it made you wonder how it was possible that they could believe the things that they did, and that they bought all that they were told? Critical thinking is what you have, and critical thinking is what you learned in school, because it's likely if you're listening this far, so far you have been educated, and you have critical thinking. Meaning, when someone or some news outlet tells you something, there is a thought process in your mind, which has been developed over the years that causes you to read with an internal radar, if that sounds right or not. And if you have been educated, this is at a higher standard than those of our fellow Americans who, for whatever reason, couldn't get to college, didn't pursue higher learning, just didn't get there, nor did they decide to pursue education later in life. It just didn't happen. I don't judge them. It's not my job. I don't have enough information to judge, nor does anyone else. But what I do have is forgiveness skills. And once a situation is forgiven, the truth of it can be seen. When you learn, teach. That's a quote by Maya Angelou. I know a lot of women. They are bright. They have internal wisdom that is like a compass that knows the difference between right and wrong. They are built to care for others and to make sure others are taken care of. They have an internal life, a spiritual life. They are a force and a will for God, for life, for love. A higher power they may or may not even recognize. And I also see them underutilizing these gifts, talents, their wisdom, and all that they have learned over many years of difficult life challenges. Many of them don't, practically all from what I can see, even know their value. It's simply been easier to keep all their wisdom, knowledge, know-how, and internal radar skills inside. This way, no one's feathers are ruffled and we don't stir the pot, so to speak. Listen, eradicating ignorance is a job. It may not have a title, nor a specific role, nor a salary, nor a position, but it is your job. The days of June Cleaver have gone by the way of Cinderella. We are now rising, but it's all just talk if one doesn't get out of one's yoga pants and do. Even the smallest speck of what you've got is worth a great deal. When you learn, teach, advised Maya Angelou. And here's another important quote. Learn, do, teach, says Christ in A Course in Miracles. And I know so many of you know a lot. And then the best and some of the brightest I know are shopping at Target, waiting in line at the grocery store, vacuuming carpets, and planning meals for adult children. And meanwhile, all of their most formidable wisdom is stuck inside and going nowhere. And the uneducated in this country don't have your influence, consuming fake news conjured up by the Russians on fake news websites designed to divide this country so that we fail. And then so many, many, many remain uneducated. The only thing anyone ever needs to know is how to connect to their higher self, to spirit, and then all the wisdom they need will come from there. The difference between right and wrong, the knowledge that comes from wise intuition. I don't care if you're teaching meditation at the Y, teach. Knitting circles at the homeless shelter, teach. Trigonometry tutoring for African American girls. Do it. Your presence brings wisdom, patience, compassion, and knowledge because that is who you are. And those students will never forget you. Seriously. You have an inkling of what you'd like to do, but how many times have you shoved that aside? How many? And what is the long list of reasons you've developed against what you know you're being called, even the next baby step, to do? Ignorance of the population is not cheap. It is costing us our environment, our health care, our education, our justice system, our fair wages, the health and welfare of our children, our elderly population, and kids/young adults at risk. That's what it costs us. Did I mention the future? No one, not even God, asks you to do more than you yourself will to do. However, when your will is aligned to God's, your power, influence, and impact is infinite. As small as a step as it may seem, it is the way to begin. I love you. Now get over your fears and teach. Whatever you know, educate. We need you. Discovery sessions. Accepting new discovery sessions. Obviously, I'm fired up about helping women overcome their fears and obstacles and step into a higher way of being, of expressing themselves and giving to life what it is that is in their hearts. And I know you have a lot in your heart. But is it difficult to know where to get started, how to get started? And whenever you try, your mind fixates on all the reasons why you shouldn't, or it's not possible. Let's get over all that, shall we? I'm here for you to lean on, to guide you by asking the pertinent questions, and to remind of the true power you hold within. If you want to learn more, I have a video on this link that you can find in the description. Learn more about discovery sessions there. My door is open now for 2 new individuals who are ready to be elevated in their life's expression. All my love and many blessings, Suzanne.